Gavin Patterson, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to Bloomberg TV here at the Allen & Co. conference in Sun Valley. We meet at a time where there's sort of a war of words going on between BT and Sky very publicly in the media back home for you in the UK. First question, have you spoken to the Murdochs while you've been here?
No. We've been in the same room a few times, but no, they're one of the few people I haven't spoken to
Yeah.
yet.
Was that uncomfortable?
No, not at all. It's only business. It's about trying to get the best commercial position, and I respect that.
All right, so what's the deal? Your head of consumer gave a speech today saying that Sky has too much dominance over pay TV. Why do you feel that way?
Well, the facts are very straightforward. Sky has 64% share of the pay TV market in the UK, and that is significantly bigger than anybody else. And all we're calling for is fair regulation, a level playing field, so that customers who buy triple play get the same regulation for TV companies as they do for broadband companies.
Have you spoken to Ofcom, the regulator in the UK? Do you really think they'll get involved?
Yeah, I do actually. They're doing a 10-year review at the moment, looking at the whole market, fixed, mobile, and they want to take in pay TV, and they recognise that these markets are just merging together, and you can't have separate regulation just because historically pay TV has been very different from fixed telephony.
All right, so on the other side of this, Sky is going to come back. Unfortunately, we couldn't get James Murdoch here, but they're going to say, listen, BT is not investing enough in broadband, and they aren't allowing enough competition in landlines.
Yeah, the facts don't support that, really don't. I mean, BT has invested over $3 billion in fibre over the last 5 years alone. That's 10, 20 times more than anybody else. It's open to everybody on equivalent terms. So Sky get the same terms as our own downstream businesses, the BT consumer business, for example. And BT has a relatively small market share compared with any other incumbent. So we're only around a third of the broadband market, which obviously is contrasts with 64 that Sky has in the TV market. So, we just want a level playing field, the same regulation applied across the whole of the market.
How is the EE deal shaping up?
Well, it's a good deal. It's a good deal for our shareholders. We believe it's a good deal for the country as a whole. The sort of networks that we operate in are increasingly converging, and BT is no different in that respect. All we're doing with this deal is we're putting together a fixed market business and a mobile market business, which exists in every other country around the world. So there's nothing special about it in that respect. But it's important that we get the chance to do this, we think, because the sort of investment that is required to meet the needs of customers, particularly as they consume more and more data, really requires the sort of scale that this business will create. Do
you think BT needs to do another deal to get that scale?
No, in the volume part of the market, I don't think that's the case at all. This is the deal that will create an all-IP network, a single platform that will meet customers' needs, whether they want fixed or mobile or a combination of both.
Are you looking at any smaller deals then, maybe sort of bolt-on acquisitions?
We're always looking for great opportunities in the market, but I'm not telling you any today.
Talking to anybody here who wants to be bought?
No, not particularly.
I have to try. There's this potential swap of assets going on between Liberty Global and Vodafone. What impact would that have on you?
Well, I think it's another indication of how convergence, fixed and mobile convergence, is really taking off in Europe. And so it's a very similar deal that is being mooted as the deal that we've done with EE. It's combining cable assets in this instance with a mobile company. So I just read about it in the press. I hear about it on TV. But I've got no particular insight into it. I think to some extent it's a sign of the way the market is moving, and so in that respect it's no great surprise.
Out here at Allen & Co. we're all trying to figure out what's the next big thing. What do you think is the most disruptive technology in your industry right now?
Ooh, that's a tricky question. There are plenty. I mean, the challenge for us as network owners is ultimately we have to build these networks. They often take 10, 15 years to pay back. We've no guarantee on the pricing because of regulation, And ultimately, if we're not careful, we can be disintermediated by over-the-top players. So, we have to be vigilant at all times. We have to make sure we're competitive. We have to make sure we're open, and always anticipating our customers' needs, I think.
Let me circle back to the competition with Sky for a second. You are challenging Sky in soccer and football, as you call it over there. This is very expensive to do. Why are you so sure you're going to win?
Well, it's about providing customers with choice. So Sky have had a very strong position in sport. They wouldn't give us access to it on commercial terms. And so we felt that there was room for another player in the market, and we felt as though we could do a good job at challenging them. We've only been in the market a couple of years. It's a proposition built around not just soccer, but other sports, rugby union, MotoGP, tennis, some of the other sports we've got on the channel. And we've now got the Champions League, which is a big deal in Europe and increasingly a big deal here in the US. Yeah. And we've got that exclusively on the channel coming up from later this month, in fact.
All right, and that's enough to beat Sky?
I think it's enough to give them a good run for their money. They're an impressive company that's a very tough competitor, but I think that just makes sure we sharpen our own pencil and make sure we're competitive, and I think it's a good fight.
All right, and final question. Politically, when we look at Europe, we're all, of course, right now very concerned about Greece. It appears to be on the brink of exiting the euro. Further down the horizon, there is the looming threat of a potential Brexit, the possibility that Britain could leave the European Union. How concerned are you about that?
Well, I am concerned because I think it would be a mistake for the UK to leave the EU. If I look at our business, the EU is fundamental to our global services business, where we serve multinationals, and if we came out of the EU, that would make us, I think, less competitive.
Have you seen any forecasts of what a Brexit would do for BT's business?
Well, we look at scenarios all the time, but I think we're
what do those scenarios look like?
For us, it makes sense for us to stay in. It's about making sure we've got the right opportunity to grow the business. Mm-hmm. It's about jobs for people in the UK. It's about attracting investment to the UK. And whether we like it or not, we're part of Europe as a country these days. That's where 50% of our trade is done. And if we leave Europe, we'll still have to do that trade, but we'll have no influence on the policies that define the markets themselves, and that doesn't seem sensible to me.
All right, Gavin Patterson, thank you very much for the time.
Thank you.